Hello everybody, welcome once again to the Adventure Travel Club television show. We find ourselves in Rome and in Vatican City, and boy are we going to see a lot of wonderful things on the show today, I'll tell you. You know, if you have never been in the Vatican before, or St. Peter's Basilica, or any of the environs, well, we're going to give you a real tour of it today on the Adventures Travel Club television show. Betty, you can see where they were still building at the time that we were there. They had a new entrance to the museum that
yes,
they built.
and it was much more convenient for, you know, when they expect so many people. Of course, they have the crowds now, too, but with the new entrance, it was go in and then you come out another way, and it really facilitated
It's beautiful.
it. Mm-hmm.
Well, you figure, you know, for the, I can't even
what
say-
did you say, Mark?
For the year 2000, is that easier to do?
Oh, that was very good.
Thank you very
yes,
much.
I congratulate you on that.
Well,
one.
for the year 2000, that they expect, and of course they're getting now.
Look at that poor man. He had a hard day.
He did. He was tired. He just wanted to lay down and rest. Was he on one of our tours?
He was.
do you remember that guy's name?
Yeah,
did he have a name tag on?
He had a name tag.
Yeah, but he took that and his clothes off too. I guess he was getting a suntan there. I don't
guess
know.
there would be some that would relish being able to rest, you know, because it's so much to see and we do get tired.
Michelangelo students, very often you stay on the scaffolding 1, 2, 3 days, because it was very difficult for him to go up and down from the scaffolding, because you know, the long walls were painted before him. He could not touch the scaffolding on the walls, so this was a sort of balance. So it was very dangerous. During the works of the ceiling, he broken one leg, Michelangelo, and he was always alone. And when he started, you know, the ceiling, and he moved then the scaffolding, he saw that he make a mistake with the proportion. That's why he changed his position. Because for the first part of the ceiling, it was aligned, you know, on the scaffolding. But when he saw that he make a mistake with the proportion because it was too close, so what he did, he was standing for the rest of the ceiling. That's why when he finished the ceiling, he had many trouble with the neck. What will be there? You stay 10 minutes, let me know the condition of your neck for years. And then he had many trouble with the eyes, because we call fresco. Fresco means fresh. Fresh is the plaster, the stuccos. Fresh is the color. So they had to dry in the same time. So quickly the artist prepared the wall, quickly put the color. So the stuccos, the color was in the eyes of this artist. Burned the eyes of Michelangelo. But you know, Michelangelo had a very long life, because Michelangelo died when he was 89 years old. 89 years old in those days is almost 110. So
well, as we can see, our guide was explaining to us about the Sistine Chapel that Michelangelo painted. And all around that garden area where we were, there were stations like that with reproductions of the Sistine Chapel, which we're looking at right now, because you are not able to talk. The guides cannot take you through the Sistine Chapel. You simply go in and look straight up at the ceiling, and believe me, you're in there like a bunch of sardines, because there are so many people there, and they're going around saying, quiet, quiet,
yes.
quiet.
But you know what? It's really funny, because there were a lot of people, and you do look at the ceiling. There are things on the side also, but you have so close to somebody that you're kind of look up and they kind of hold you in place because they're right next to you.
Well, yeah, that's true, Betty. And you know, because there is so much to see. I mean, you could get a sore neck doing it, you know, after a while. And it is because the Sistine Chapel is very, very important. Of course, that's where, you know, the popes are elected as well, in this particular chapel. And has been the Japanese Broadcasting Corporation was the one that paid for the restoration here in the Sistine Chapel, and that's why you are not allowed to take pictures here. You're not allowed to have a guide take you through. So that's why the guides, first of all, were outside before we got into the Sistine Chapel and explaining so much about the various paintings, of course, which we're seeing right now.
You know, that was a very, very clever idea of them to do that this year. I don't recall having that being done before, but when you have as many groups going as you do, and they have that many stalls with this map of what we were going to look at, so she can do the oral explanation outside, but each one having their own. You didn't have a big crowd standing in front of you, so you felt like you were special people.
Oh, that's true, and it was set up very, very
yes,
well. I mean, they have
so.
the Vatican has done a tremendous job with this. They really have.
Now look at this. this. We really got to hand it to Michelangelo for that picture, wouldn't you say? Isn't
The
that
hand
wonderful?
of God creating, creating
yeah.
Adam, right? You gotta
That
hand
I
it
guess
to him.
that probably
Very
is
good.
the most famous of
I
all
think
of
that's
the paintings there.
Right, and that's the picture that's probably been photographed the most, and that we see most of it. You can see, though, I mean, boy, can you just imagine? And then Adam and Eve being expelled from
Yeah.
the Garden of Eden.
The thing that I found important, since we had the explanation from her, was how it was wet plaster, and then while it was wet, you had to do the color, and then you got the flesh tones afterwards. But the precision that was involved in this kind of thing, we know he's a genius, but
Right. We should explain now we're outside
yes,
of that.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we have left the Sistine Chapel, and we're going down one of the long, long corridors, the long hallways.
and they're long.
And they are. But again, I mean, these were the same thing, Betty. The paintings on these ceilings were absolutely incredible. Not only that, but there were tapestries, there were other paintings. So look, I just held the camera up and we just walked through. Now, this is an area where, of course, where they did let us take,
Some pictures.
where you could
You
take
know what?
pictures.
It's almost too much, Marv. I'm looking and I'm looking and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's more,
You could spend literally, and Bishop has been through a lot of this before, because when we got through this and we spent hours here, he said, "Is that all we're going to see?" I said, "What are you talking about, Bishop?" He says, "Oh my golly, you've just seen a thumbnail thing of what the rest of it's there." And I said, "But you would literally, Bishop, you'd have to spend 3 or 4
sure.
days or a week or more to see all this,"
Well,
which is very true.
Yeah, but you just spend that wouldn't do. You'd just spend all your time there. And if you were an artist or you wanted to go to school or something, then you would go and do the artistic. We got a great movement of what.
We did. No, and the thing is, you and I have been through here before, and the thing is, there's still more and more to see each time that we go through, because there's a lot, like you say, there's a lot to digest. Now, this is the outside of the Sistine Chapel. This is how they lit the Sistine Chapel. You can see there are quartz lights on the outside, and they've used an opaque
I like
filament.
opaque better.
Yeah. Okay, a filament, so that the light would be diffused in the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
Now, these are tapestries.
Yeah.
Here's a tapestry of the
These
Last
from
Supper.
Belgium, most of them, aren't they?
I think so.
I think
a lot
most of them
were.
do come from Belgium.
They're huge. So, I
Yeah.
mean, you're talking about 20, 30, 40 feet high and maybe 50 feet long with some of these tapestries.
I'm very fond of
Incredible.
I'm now in trouble too. I'm very fond of the tapestries. Because I love my rug, that I have at home, and I know how the work that it entails for that. I think more so actually than the painting, although the painting is more creative.
Right. And this, again, we're looking just another hallway that we're going down through. But you can see, I mean, there is not a square inch that is not painted or that doesn't have some sort of beautiful artwork. Can you imagine how many years and how many craftsmen it took to create all of this? And of course, we're looking at also these paintings are of historical events that have happened in the life of the church.
I think it's a little much myself, if you look at look what we're looking at right now, and you're saying, then you try to read on the bottom, what it is you're looking at. So you spend some, and then there's people wanting to see the same picture, so you walk on, and
well, that's why you get a taste of it. That's why you watch television. Okay, we're leaving now.
Okay.
But now look how beautiful this is, the walls. Actually,
what is that? What was that?
That's how part of that same area has not been restored. We were ushered out of another entrance, which most of the tourists are not ushered out of, which you can see right here. And as we were leaving, I took some pictures there. I saw that some of these walls are coming apart. So there needs to be some more restoration work or just some maintenance work done there here in the Vatican.
Well, they probably hadn't finished for the year two. They were redoing for the year 2000.
May have been, but that looks like it. I mean, that was going
That was
way
more
back
than
to
that, huh?
it was going way back to the bricks that were that were the base material, I guess, that they were building. Now, of course, this door has been opened. That was the holy door there leading into St. Peter's, and of course, this was taken, we have to say, in November when we were there. And there are a couple of more doors too that are open. Of course, that will lead you into the Basilica, and this is the other side of it. Of course, this now, if you were to go visit, this would all be taken down because the Holy Father opened that door. And right inside to the right of that, of course, is Michelangelo's Pietà. And this is, you notice a little reflection there because that's behind bullet and bomb-proof glass. Excuse me. Some madman, I don't know, several years ago tried to destroy this statue. And I think that statue and the statue of David are probably the most famous statues that he created.
Oh, the Pietà. Oh, to see you say Pietà. Pietà? I guess.
Yeah. How do you say it?
I just said Pietà, but I'm sure that's not
okay.
right. But
you got a little Italian.
I'd have to put a little. Yeah, I don't use the two vowels, and you have to pronounce each one of the vowels like you did. Say it again.
Pietà.
P. C.
Well,
P.
no, I'm
I.
saying it
And
the way you say it.
ta. So you're getting an.
You want to buy a vowel?
Oh no, I don't.
Or would you like to buy a dome?
No,
Also,
no.
the beautiful dome, of course, that he created too. And this is the thing that everybody sees from all over. But this is one of my favorite things: Bernini's columns over the altar where the Holy Father celebrates Mass. First time I saw this, I thought, how is that standing up? I mean, it was absolutely incredible.
I didn't have a great reaction to it when I first saw it. No.
Why
well,
not?
I was there years and years and years ago, and when I first saw it, I thought, oh, wait a minute, what's this stuck right here in the middle for? Are they going to move it later? then I got a little more intelligent, and I found out what it was. Yeah.
Well, and this is, of course, no, we talk about more artwork. This is the ceiling.
No kidding.
No kidding. I have to tell you one thing. The first time I went here, which was many years ago, I didn't get to the Sistine Chapel. I didn't get up on top of the roof. I didn't get to the Vatican Museum. I spent 3 days right here on the floor. I wasn't on the floor. I mean, walking the floor. It was after Vatican II. And I wanted to get to know one thing well, and I wanted to get to know the basic basilica. I want to interrupt myself for a little bit. Betty, you know where that statue is?
Sure, I know that.
And the significance of it?
That be St. Peter.
And what about his toe?
And you rub his toe, and it's as you can see, the statue is black, but on his foot, so where you rub, it's polished. It's a beautiful golden color because it's
actually worn away.
Worn away, yes. And Marv, I thought that at one time that was Peter's pence, but it's not. That is not what it is.
It's Peter's toe.
No, I meant the symbolism of the statue.
Well, what we're looking at, too, now there's the altar, and above that altar, there where the Mass is being celebrated now, is St. Peter's chair. They call this and this is, of course, at the very end of the nave, the very end of the basilica that you can see. And the statuary here and the carving of the St. Peter's chair and the figures around that and that go up to the window. These are huge. I mean, look how small by comparison the priest is there that's celebrating Mass to what you see, up above. And the first time that I went, as I say, several years ago, I did go to Mass here, and it was still set up for Vatican II. But look at the statuary. I mean, these are huge.
See, this is where you're lucky. I'm lucky. You're lucky. All our viewers are lucky because we can see it better through the camera lens than we can do with our own naked eye. It's impossible to impossible to get in all of the details that you were able to do in that particular shot.
And I really like this. You can see there's an atmosphere within the building itself because, and there's not a lot of people here. Remember, this is a Sunday, the day that we were there, but you can see as the sunlight is streaming through the windows, you can see that there is, there's a little bit of haze within that. This building is so large. It is so big that it really does have its own atmosphere inside, as we can see here. But
excuse me, I just have to stop you right now and just tell you, I think you've done a magnificent job with your camera. Well,
thank you.
I tease you a lot and stuff, but truly, Marv, I'm seeing things that I didn't see on the trip when we were actually there in person. So you have brought it just even to me now after all this time.
I love this window there. Again, this is at the very end of the basilica, and the dove, I think this represents the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
Coming into the church, and this is magnificent. To me, this looks a little modern by comparison to some of the rest of the artwork, but I don't think that it is.
Was that alabaster? around
You know,
it?
I don't.
It
could have
has the
been.
colors
It
of
could have been,
alabaster.
yeah.
I
You
think
may
it,
be
and,
right.
and it would be translucent, so
Right.
it could have been.
Remember, we were once at church in Switzerland or Germany, and the whole church was
Yeah.
built out of alabaster.
Uh-huh,
I mean, the whole building
Yeah,
was.
the
And
building, the walls, the outside.
Right.
I mean, you drove up to it, and
That
it
was
was
incredible. I think we might see that again when we make our
Germany trip?
to
Switzerland.
Oberammergau. Yeah, but here, as we can see on the floor of the Vatican, I was going to say, you said the camera work. I said, you couldn't shoot a bad thing here. I mean, you could shoot the floor, and
and it
and
would still be
it's
beautiful. Huh?
because.
But you have to
designs
be
in it.
selective. You can't. As you come in and you look around it, and it's like going in a candy store. You want this or you want that, and you go over here, and to make selections or to be selective.
Well, the other
is
thing,
important.
The other thing too is what we didn't show a lot here in the show today is that there are so many side altars. Also, Betty, have you ever been up here? Did you ever walk around up in the dome up here? Have you ever done that?
Oh, sure.
Did you? I mean, there's people. No, there are people.
Oh, I know you can.
You can do that, and those letters are something like 6 to 10 feet.
Actually,
tall,
I
so you
did.
can-
I
Did
didn't
you
go
go
all
up
the way up to the top. You can also go up to the very, very top.
Oh, you can.
Yes, but I didn't do that because
I haven't done the next trip. I want to do that. I'd like to go up there. But look, now I'm just shooting the camera straight up, and look, there's statuary over, looking down at us.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, the artwork.
that's what
here
I
is-
say. It's almost overdone, But it's art and it's beautiful, and I won't
is.
ask them to change it.
You. Yeah. I don't know who you appeal to do that anyway.
No, it's very appealing as it is.
And the thing is that it is kept up so nicely. The floors, the marble floors. In fact, when we came very, very early on Sunday morning because we were there for Mass downstairs in the underneath
the crypt.
at St. Peter's Tomb, and there was a big machine that was coming in and cleaning and waxing the floors. I mean, you can drive several of those machines all together if you wanted to through the basilica.
You might go back a little bit with the dimensions of the church. We did have that in one of our shows, but it was how many? It was the cathedral in Washington D.C.
You could fit several cathedrals.
Several
inside, yeah.
cathedrals just inside here.
Betty, the Mass is over with, and Father Pat McCormick is standing next to me. We're going to listen to him as he kind of explains a little bit who some of these folks are.
And they say the Vespers. In the United States, we don't have canons, but they look like monsignors. But these are canons. And usually canons line up according to the younger ones who have been appointed canons are in the front, and the older canons are in the back. They've been canons longer. Then you have concelebrate priests, but they're vested to say Mass, so that's why they look like it. Then behind them comes the cardinal who's saying the Mass, flanked by a couple of bishops, and then behind him comes a cardinal who is just attending the Mass.
Thank you, Father.
You're welcome.
Well, we can see here, Betty, that there was an awful lot of clergy that was here celebrating, of course, the bishop there, and also the cardinal as well.
No, the cardinal used to be the Archbishop of Washington, D.C. He had an education office.
And we couldn't remember the cardinal's name. But anyway, now we want to take a look at some of the doors again because we didn't do that before. The doors leading into St. Peter's, as you can see here, and these are magnificent as well.
Now, these aren't the doors that were opened for the Millennium.
No,
year.
because
No.
that was all
was-
covered, as you remember.
yes,
that was
yes.
off to the right of this. That was all covered on the outside, and then of course it was bricked up on the inside.
Are those the Bernini doors too? Were they?
Did he do the doors?
I'm asking you.
I don't know.
Well, why don't you?
I don't know.
You're
Maybe he
supposed
did
to
do the
have
doors.
the answers to
I don't-
things like
maybe,
that.
Well, if you say they were Bernini doors, Bernini, then maybe Mr. Bernini did them. I guess he did. I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Something for me to look up.
I should not ask you questions unless you know the answers.
I guess that's true. Now, this is a fountain, a very old fountain.
Look like a
that was
bathtub.
there. It does, huh? Well, they probably watered your horses there.
I'm sure you did, and that could have been actually a model that they would have used eventually for when they put them in their own homes, because
A
they
bathtub?
a bathtub. Yeah, well, I know.
Okay.
I mean, they're square and
Could have been.
they have water in them, and
That may have been one of the original your Roman tub, right?
my Roman tub.
Good. Anyway, we're on one of the Roman hills right now, overlooking part of the city of Rome. And as you know, that Rome was built on 7 hills, and they continue to build.
Rome was not built in a day.
No, that's true. And they build beyond and beyond. But now, up on one of
yes,
these
look at
hills, I
those.
think we're in a high-priced area, don't you think so, Betty?
Oh, I know so. That I know the answer to that
You
one.
know the
yes,
answer to
I
that.
do know the answer. Gorgeous. Look at the view they have,
Oh.
looking right at the Vatican itself. You know, Marv, I'd like to, just as an aside here, location is such an important thing for people that go on a tour. So many of them, you're out like 7-8 miles out in the country. So you have no way of getting into town other than taking a local bus or having your bus itself bring you in. So location, we try to make a point of always having a central location.
Right. I know you always insist on that.
Yeah.
And I think that's great because that way, say that you come back, to the hotel a little bit early, or if you want to come back and rest, that's fine too. Then if you want to go out shopping, or if you want to go back and see some of the sites that were close by, you can do that as well.
You can walk to it even,
Right.
or to get a short taxi ride. But you're with the hustle and the bustle and the whole living.
Well, you like to be in where the action is,
I do, yeah,
and I
I
think it's
do,
great.
I
I think
do.
that's a great thing for us to do, and you've always insisted on that because we've driven out in the country and we've seen where some tour buses are and where they have put some of these other tours, and I do feel sorry for some of those folks
Yes, well,
because
see-
they don't get a chance to experience all the things that we do.
It's much less expensive for the wholesaler to have accommodations outside of
Stick
the
'em out
city.
in the
Yeah.
country somewhere. Well, anyway, I'm glad that you insist that we get in a great place. I love these drives through here. Now you can see
Yes.
we're on the other side of these walls. There's some magnificent homes, of course, and but these drives here are just beautiful.
And take a notice the weather. Notice the weather. You can't feel it, but you can see it. We've had the sunshine, and you see the magnificent green of the trees. And this was early November that we were in Rome. So we make this remark a lot, though, about how blessed we are with the weather. I should maybe be very careful, but because I tell my people, now bring something warm. And, well, it's
can always
always
take
good
it
to
off.
have it anyway. That's
Right.
what I say. You can take it off. But we just had beautiful weather, and it just lifts your spirit up, and you can stroll down these places or ride down them and see the beauty surrounding you. Of course, this could be anywhere. This could be in,
It's nice. But it's not. This happens to
This
be
happens
at
to be
the
Rome.
Victoria Emmanuel Monument, and you call this what kind of a cake?
That's a birthday, no, wedding cake.
Wedding cake, right?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
this referred to in
Yeah,
Rome.
when
as
you
a
go to
wedding
go
cake.
see something, you're going to go see the wedding cake.
Of course, I think Victor Emmanuel was the first king of Rome, or of Italy, the king of Rome.
King of Rome, yeah. I like
whatever.
the first. But look at
Okay.
that. And all the carvings. You didn't
it's
quite
just
get in
something.
on you didn't zoom into.
Well, I'll get you a couple statues
get-
here after a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I meant of that, what you could see surrounding the cake like itself.
And what's
But
on the other side of this?
I don't remember.
The Roman Forum.
That's a Rome. Oh, yes,
Remember?
you did. Yeah.
Not very far from here because we actually stopped here, parked the bus.
But not
walked
right in
by
back of
this.
the cake. That's not the Roman Forum that
No,
you're
the
looking
forum's
at. The way on
further
the other
behind.
side.
Yeah, it's just right there in the neighborhood, as it
Oh.
were. Now, you wanted to see statuary? Okay, here's
Yeah.
another guy.
But that's a joke when you see somebody like that, and his name is Larry. Statue Larry? Statue.
Statue.
No, I'm Bill. Okay, that's enough.
Now, you know what this little square is called? The one with all of the beautiful flowers in front of the Victor Emmanuel.
Yes,
a
that
wedding cake.
You want a good answer? That's
Yeah.
Venice Square.
That's Venice Square.
Yeah,
And that
taken
little
from the
palace
word
over there
Venice.
is the
in
Venice Palace,
Italy.
right?
Venice Palace.
What is Venice doing in Rome?
Well, Rome is so beautiful that they just couldn't resist coming down for a visit.
Oh boy.
I
Anyway,
really
there's
don't-
another picture of it right from the
Okay,
bus. We
yeah.
got some. We really got some very good shots of this.
The
And this
flowers,
is
I just,
beautiful. Aren't they nice?
we rhapsodize over these flowers always, don't we?
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't have, you didn't have any birds this time.
I didn't.
No,
did I?
and I was surprised that you hadn't complained somewhere along the line, Betty, we got to go find some birds.
I didn't find any swans swimming around or any. You're right. I don't think I did get any birds on it. You know what though? No, wait a minute. I think I got one.
You got the dove there. You got the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit. Okay, that was one. And I think I got another one. Take a look right here. There's an eagle.
An eagle.
That's an
well, I
eagle.
was not really thinking of some stationary bird.
Well, that bird. Okay, what we just saw there on that pole.
That's
of course,
okay.
The Roman legions, for centuries carried that particular. What do you call
Insignia?
that? Insignia. Yeah, that's a
okay.
good. Yeah, around when they went and conquered the rest of the world. So that's what we saw. But look, anywhere you look, I mean, even from the Victor Emmanuel building right here, you can still see the Vatican right there. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. And several other very important churches, too, some which we will visit a little bit later on in our shows. But this one, I love this because the campanile, the bell tower.
That makes you
is
think,
just
is it like
beautiful.
at Cal, University of California?
Yeah.
At Campanile. huh?
Right. And this is another, we just passed that building. Anyway,
Okay.
Betty, it's getting time for us to go, but we want to tell people that we have a great trip coming up to Greece in November, right?
Yes, we are going to do a land trip and 3-day cruising of all of the spots that you've read about and heard about that even St. Paul wrote about in his Gospels, readings, first readings. Gospels? What did Paul write? He wrote...
He wrote a lot of stuff.
I'm thinking, no, he didn't write the Gospels, of course. Those were the 4 apostles.
Right.
But in the first and second readings, according to Paul.
And so we're going to visit
And
some of
we're
those
gonna-
places.
yeah, I lost
in
my
Greece.
train of thought.
That's okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
because you lost one of your members sitting over here on the bench again. Okay.
There's my
But
friend. But
Anyway,
this is a reminiscent now of
Right.
what we have seen, and we're going back over again to recall to your memory the
right, and
beautiful
what some of our
things that
people are going to see
there.
on our next trip
Yes.
over. Betty, it's about time for us to say goodbye. Give Betty a call at,
488-7443.
and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.